Hello everyone, Dan Schwimmer here, Product Manager for LeaseStar Social. Doing a little update training on some of the enhancements that we've released in the past few months. Most of you probably already know that the primary vertical for LeaseStar Social is pretty much any multifamily property management company. Secondary, none that I can think of at the moment, so we'll stick with the main one. All right, so the enhancements we're going to cover today, we've got survey reporting options that we added a few months back, PMC branding name, and reputation ratings performance groups. I'll explain each one of them as we go along. So the first one, survey reporting options. These options basically give control to our client to pretty much configure how often they want to receive reports for a particular survey, or in some cases, turn off reporting. Rare, but possible. So why did we create this? Well, we were getting a lot of requests from clients saying we want them every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks or even less frequent or even more frequent, every 2 days. So we didn't have a way to do that. It was pretty much a set default for the timing. So now with this new feature, our clients, after a survey has been configured, can go in and select the frequency they want. For our touchpoint surveys, and for those who are not familiar, those are surveys that are event triggered. Users can be configured to receive an individual response report, which could come as often as every day. So that's a nice new feature. So the primary stakeholder, pretty much any client who's using the survey product. It's not limited in any way to any particular LeaseStar Social user type, so you don't have to worry about permissions here. The client can sit back and do nothing if they choose, and the reports will go out as they normally do at their default frequency, which is usually, I'll get to that in a moment. So just to show you what we're talking about here, back up here, switch over to here. All right, so this is LeaseStar Social. I'm currently on the main survey page, and I'm in a demo PMC that I'm looking at. And what we're seeing here in this bottom section are all of the surveys that have been configured and are either going to or have been sent out. And we have a simple options link for each and every survey. This particular survey at the top is a regular scheduled survey. It was scheduled to launch on the 11th, so it just went out the one time. And the options here, so it explains that by default, the first report is sent 1 week after launch. Then every week thereafter, if there are new responses. So if any of these boxes are unchecked, nothing's sent out. If they remain checked, we can make them as often, or set it down to 1 day, set it down to 30 days, whichever one they want. And as I said, it's per survey. Now for touch points, it's slightly different. There isn't an initial report for a touch point survey, because touch points, they don't go out just once. They go out whenever there's an event triggered, so it can be several days before the first one goes out, and they can, as long as it's enabled, those surveys will continue going out as events come in. So the follow-up reports are basically set to go out a week after the first set of new responses come in, but the user can say they want them more often. Also, if for touchpoint surveys only, it can be configured so that individual users, from the client side, can receive an individual response report pretty much every time a response comes into our system, these people will get a report, and that sometimes is very helpful for, let's say, work order surveys or lease renewal. Depending on how they responded, these people will get an individual report and can contact the resident directly. And these individual reports, the user here can opt out via the email, and if so, their name will be automatically unchecked from here. So that is that option in a nutshell. We'll continue to move on to our next enhancement. I see there's something blinking here. There's some double check. Josh, is there any questions I should handle at this point? I don't know if you're monitoring that or if I should look at this.
Yeah, I haven't seen any questions come in quite yet.
All right, thank you. All right, so sorry to pause for that. So our next one is the PMC brand name. Now, we had, this is where a client can request to use a specific brand name rather than their company name for all correspondence with residents or prospects. This affects emails going out from the system for referrals or for surveys. As you see here, I have a brief little example. At the bottom of emails that get sent out for the referral campaign or for a survey, it notes the LeaseStar Social on behalf of, and then the company name. So in some cases, if the company does not want their name there for whatever reason, they prefer a specific brand name, that's where this comes into play. Referral reports will use this brand name, and as an account manager or someone else who has access to our admin side of LeaseStar Social, once the company has changed to a brand name, that's what you will be searching for if you're going to be looking them up for any reason to create a report or to search for their contract, whatever. It will be under that brand name, not the original company name. Why did we do this? Well, by default, all the correspondence use the name of the company in the from address, and as well as at the bottom, as I mentioned. And we had several requests from clients that they didn't want either their company name or they had a very specific name or a way that they wanted to format the from address. So we wanted to give them that ability. You know, the value prop, it's really minor. It's just giving them that ability to brand, which they didn't have before. Pretty much this is open to any client, any LeaseStar Social client who wants to brand their emails a little bit differently. Since this is done on the admin side, the implementation is can only be handled by LeaseStar Social admin. Clients cannot do this on their own. They will need to contact their account manager. So I will show that real quick here. Just right here. So I'm in the admin, and for those of you who are familiar with this section, this will not be new to you. I have gone to the PM Companies page, which is under contracts, and I have done a search. So if I edit this company, you'll see that this company's name is actually, well, CDemo PMC4, obviously a demo company, but we have decided to brand it LeaseStar Social Brand Test, which is why in the PowerPoint you saw that little snippet that I showed at the end of the emails, that's where they will appear. It's really that simple. And then down below here, this is the email address for sending emails to residents. And so again, we can control, modify what that is. And again, this is just giving a little bit more flexibility to our clients so that they're not stuck with their company name at realpage.com or their company name on all the correspondence. All right, so the third one here, we've got reputation ratings performance groups. Now, what this means is in our reputation product, we have kind of two reporting areas. One is for ratings, shows rating trends from Yelp and apartmentratings.com, and also performance, just to show how each property's performance is in relation to how quickly they're responding, and how many reviews either need responses or need to be approved, etc. Currently, well, this new feature, as I note here, was requested by sales as a nice to have, and we agreed, so we added it. The original functionality pretty much just gave our clients the ability to look at trends or performance, either all communities at one time or one at a time. So what we've added here is the ability for them to create groups of communities, and then they can see a trend for that group, or they can see the performance for that group. One thing that I don't have written here but is important to note is that our group functionality here for reputation is the same group functionality that we use in surveys when configuring a survey, and it's the same that we use in our sharing product for creating content, social media content. So any group that's created in anywhere else, if the client has that product, it will be shared between all these different areas, which is important. So it's not just a group that is exclusive to reputation. If they create a community group, it can be used interchangeably for all these other products. So primary stakeholder, pretty much any regional manager interested in comparing their property's performance or seeing the ratings trends across those communities. If the client has reputation, this feature is there by default. They don't have to use it, or they can. It's not something that needs to be turned on. So let's take a look at this feature. All right, so here we are in reputation. I'm on the ratings trend page right now. As you can see, this is showing the ratings trends for the entire community group for this particular PMC. And here's our group drop down. So what I can do is I can go in and create a group. So we have all the communities for this PMC listed, and we can search, by city, by state, or by community name. And if we want just the Bay communities, we can create that, the Bay group, save that. So now, there we go. If I want, I can select the Bay group, and just the trends for those two properties will appear. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that the line didn't really change. This particular demo PMC, most of the data is hard-coded because it's just for demo purposes, which is why you're not seeing any changes here. But rest assured, if a client were to create a specific group, if they wanted to see maybe a couple of top performers from each of their different areas, they can do that, and the graph would change. If I go to the performance side, we'll see the same group appears. As I mentioned, the groups are shared from one area to another. So if I select the Bay group here, it's a little different. So we get to see, okay, the number of responses that are posted, etc., and the average response time for these two communities. And as I mentioned, the groups created here will appear in both the sharing and survey products as well. This is something I'm not sure how much everyone knows about our sharing tool. So I figured since I've got some extra time, I didn't prepare slides, but it's a product that I'm very familiar with. Our sharing tool, and we have it loaded here, we developed late last year, deployed in November. This gives our clients the ability to create social media content for one or more properties at one time and post directly to Facebook and or Twitter. So they can create it. If I come here, I can choose whichever social media site that I'd like. When I select communities, it will only give me the option to select those communities that have been previously set up to post to that social media site. And I could select, of course, one or more. And you can see this community area is very similar to what we saw with reputation. And you can see those groups exist here. I can't select them because the communities within these groups are not set up to post to Facebook. I can compose my message, type whatever I'd like, add a link. I can upload one or multiple photos. If I upload a photo, only the name of the photo appears here. All right. Scheduling, you can pick whichever day in advance. We can pick the time, or you can pick as soon as possible. All times are in Pacific. And you get a nice preview. This is when it's going to post. This is where the community it's posting to, and a link to its Facebook page. And here's the image. I'm not going to actually post this. We have an approval flow, so if a property manager is creating content, it would have to be approved by a regional manager or above. And all the approval would be done on this page, whether it's one at a time or multiples can be approved at once. We have a history that pretty much keeps track of everything that's been created and or posted through this tool. Shares can be rejected, so they'd appear here. And warnings are any share created that, for whatever reason, did not post. That same thing can be seen on the activity page, which can be seen at all communities level or at a individual community level. So this is a really cool tool. The setup is done within the community section. We have when you edit a community, either on the manage or admin side, we have a reputation management section, and so adding the Twitter handle or the Facebook fan page ID, you would add it here, and then you'd go through the authorization, which I'm sure most of you have seen before with other apps, and that gives LeaseStar Social the authorization to post on the community's behalf. So it's not too many of our clients right now are using this. I'm hoping that perhaps this webinar will enlighten a lot of you to understand what this product can do and how cool it is. It works very well. Posting happens really fast, especially if you select as soon as possible. It posts within seconds. Actually, let me go back to here, and I will show you. All right, so let's schedule this as soon as possible. I will submit. All right, now that was for Piccadilly. I come to here. By the time I load this, it has already posted. So here it is. I can look at the details in this window. And here's a link to its page. So if I click here, you can see that it is posted. Very nice tool. All right, Josh, that is all I have. I can take questions.
Okay.
And I have the quiz, but I think that's not meant to be given out right now. That's just to be posted later, right?
Correct. Yeah, you can send that either to Kareem or myself, and we'll make sure that's included when we upload it to the LMS portal. I'll go ahead and make sure that everyone is unmuted. If you have any questions, feel free to shout them out or send them in through the chat window.
I know that one thing that a lot of people are asking or have asked is who gets survey reports and alerts, so I can certainly run through that real quick too. The primary user for a community, they will get the report. Property manager, regional manager, pretty much all executives linked to the community as well as the primary on contract. Now, if you need to know where to find those people, well, give me a shout out and I can send you more details. Feel free to drop me an email with any LeaseStar social questions at any time, or suggestions for that matter.
All right, thank you.
Sure.